Transsexuals, eh? I've had so many dealings with transsexuals. My first video response and my third ever video on YouTube was a response to a transsexual person. And so I'm very much interested in dissecting, like scientists will do with all our intersexed and transsexual and whatever else sexual people, bisexual even, homosexual people will do. They'll dissect the whole thing and study every little tiny bit, and that's what I'm doing with transsexualism. And this whole idea that M to Fs and F to Ms firmly believe, and we're taught to believe, by the way, that there's just males and females in the world. Now, the reality is that most transsexual people that I've met online are actually not in agreement with that point. And also they're not actually open to discussing things. And the reason I say that is because from my 2 years on YouTube, my first 6 months I was really in the pool of transsexuals, because there weren't too many people that were intersexed for a start. I was one of a rare few of people that were actually on YouTube to do intersex stuff. You know, and now thankfully there's more intersex people on there, because the reality is, transsexuals, that most of you don't want to discuss, right? You don't want to discuss these issues because they're nitty-gritty issues, and it kind of defeats the purpose of transitioning if you're actually not transitioning from a specific male type to a specific female type, when in fact maybe we're all actually intersex, as in we're all in the middle of the sexes on whatever level. You don't have to be physically intersexed, you know, to actually be intersexed. This is my point. So I stand alone also, because the intersex people don't agree completely with what I say, because I want to label nearly the whole of the human population as intersexed, rather than having a subgroup of people that calling themselves transsexuals, because because you transsexuals say that you were born a woman and you're now going to change into a man, in behaviours, in haircuts, in not wearing jewellery, in your tone of voices you'll change. And even what I read the other day, that spurred all these comments, and 3 people deciding, well, I've had enough with him now, you know, unsubscribing. Fine, but what a reaction, you know. Like it's a very rash reaction, and it comes from defensiveness, because of course intersex people, transsexual people, homosexual people, fucking black people in a white country, white people in a black country, you know, minority kind of stuff, you know, you do get shit for it. So you end up, if you go through it, years being defensive, which basically means half aggressive, because you're in a stance of defense. So I completely understand all of those areas. You might think of me as some idiot just spouting off whatever. I have a problem with brain to mouth coordination, something that I do talk about a lot with XXYs. My kind, my species, you see, that my natural species that really shows that it's not just XY and XX. So wake up, world, to the realities of XOs, XXXYs. You know, let's be awakened to the realities of the differences and variants in human beings, please. Thank you, and thank you very much for listening to that stuff, everybody who's still listening. I mean, I'm obviously getting a bit angry here myself, frustrated, stroke anger, definite, because I'm shocked at why I am not able to talk with transsexuals on these nitty-gritty issues. Like, are you really transitioning from male to female or female to male? What if some of you are a bit like me? Now, not every person who's got XXY chromosomes says that they're anything but a male. Most XXY chromosome people will say that they're a male, you know. But there are people, examples, and you only need one example to make a point that there are variants, yeah? And it's not just male and female. You've got to get that through. You've really got to get that through transsexuals. It's not male and female on planet Earth. That's it. No in-betweens. The in-betweens are just abnormalities and disorders and basically fuck-ups. Yeah, right. And the doctors and all these people who will call us an abnormality and a disorder, okay? And a disease, they'd like to say as well. Tough words there, aren't they? Exactly. And tough words on transsexuals as well. You know, you're in the T, what is it? Is it the GLBTQI now? The gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, and now intersex and queer, gender queer as far as I know. That group, I mean, you are grouped together without the I included in that now. Your group is basically transsexuals are in with homosexuals. And I asked the question, why do we actually segregate lesbians and gays? And well, basically they're in the same thing because they're homosexual, yeah. And then bisexuals, all in the same thing there. Why are they in with genderqueer and transsexuals and now intersex? Why are we doing this? You know, because it's and this is my main point to transsexuals. If you're still listening, because actually, I don't even care actually if anybody is not really listening to these points, because I suppose I am talking about a future society. You know, this is what I'm hoping for. You know, I state what I think should be in the future, but I state it like it's happening now. Anyway, that's what happens. In my brain, I you know, do waffle on, and I do lose a bit of my train of thought because I get emotional and I need to discuss things that are really sensitive issues, but there's no way of treading on thin ice around these sensitive issues all the time. Sometimes it just takes just pouncing in and just woof, I think this. And this is what I do think about transsexuals in general. And let me make a point in one comment that was made, something, well, do I have time? I do have time to find this. Okay, I need to find the comments on that channel. Somebody said that they thought that let me get it exactly. Where is it? One or the other transsexuals. Okay. It's my video, one or the other transsexuals. Lots of comments, it was great. And I'm giving everybody the thumbs up on every single one of your comments, because we need to discuss these things, the nitty gritty. Well, first of all, Eopic, you said, Gavin, it's about gender identification, and it is not correct what you say that people just choose out of the blue. I don't say that transsexuals choose out of the blue. There's all different types of people. Some people choose out of the blue and some people don't choose out of the blue, you know. Oh, you asked me a question there, yeah. And when we come to that, we do not feel... One cannot control one's gender feelings. I have tried, but I cannot. Can you, Gavin? You see, I'm not controlling anything. I'm just being myself. But I know that I'm XXY chromosomes, which does make a huge difference. Because I do understand males, and I do understand females. But then I also understand, as I've been more and more on the internet, that the reality is that it isn't males and females and XXYs being more female males, and you know, and then the XOs are, you know, whatever, you know. It's just not like that. We're all people, you know. It shouldn't matter what you are, if you're a masculine or a feminine looking person and with other characteristics of this, that and the other and whatever. Please. And the other thing is that what stops, and this is serious, what stops now the human race asking for tails? I want a tail so I can swing to work. You know, honestly now, you think that's too fantasy? No, it's not. I'm sure we'll get to that point if this continues, of I choose to have my body this way, then I'm going to get wings. I mean, and this is my point. You think I'm against people getting wings and tails? I'm not. I'm not against people doing whatever they want to their own bodies, right? With technology available, whatever you want. Change your body into whatever shapes you want. So on that level, yeah. But what I'm really saying is, why, and actually what I'm really saying is don't, but I don't want to demand and command you to not. So I'll say, why do you say, as a person, not as a transsexual, as a person, why do you say that you're going from male to female or female to male, when in fact there are natural in-betweens, and many transsexuals could be them. You might just think that you're male. I mean, look, it's a fact. There are not just stereotypical males in the world, and a lot of transsexuals who are F to M's are going for the stereotypical man image instead of being themselves with the body that they want. So is it transsexuals that you really truly want just the body? No, you don't. There's all sorts of variants. Some people want the body, some people want to be treated the way that they feel that they are, some people, whatever, I'm not going to go through the things because I'm running out of time as usual. But this, I know I got a bit stroppy, a bit angry and that, bit emotional, but it's a nitty-gritty important issue.